The one that I rode on, it was raining, and they fit, I counted, I think it was 37 people. So really, if it's raining, you can fit as many people as you can. And then this is just another road that I would run on while I was there. I like to run, so I would run through villages, and I had about a 6-mile loop I would do. This was part of it, but when I would run through some of the villages, all the kids were around, and they'd see me, and they would, like, the first one to see you just yells, "Oh, Bruni, oh, Bruni," and then they all just go chasing after you, and they would run after me as long as they could, just shouting, "Oh, Bruni, oh, Bruni." So that was fun. And then this picture in the top left-hand corner is a picture of the real market. So when you'd go, and I have a picture, actually I'll just keep going, I'll show you. This right here is the market from a bridge. So the picture that I had back here was inside of that market. And that was an experience the first time I went. Everyone grabbing you, telling you to buy this, and trying to barter with you. And this lady, actually, this is the only picture I got of how they carry their babies, but this is how they carry their babies, and I just thought it was very intriguing. This is downpour rain in Ghana. That happened quite often. Halfway through my trip, it was the rainy season, so every day you'd get a downpour, at least something that looked like that. And that's just another picture of village children. This is a picture of me in the fabric shop. And this was one out of just hundreds of fabric shops. So I just thought it was amazing. And by the look on my face, you can see. I couldn't believe it. This is the school that I lived at, and where anyone who goes this year, I believe, will go back to Isase Christian School and Orphanage. And this is Mr. Boateng right here in the yellow, and Guy, who is actually going to be here next year. Mr. Boateng set up this school and orphanage, and there's about, I think he made it in about 96, and now there's about 500 students there and 30 orphans. So I got to interact with the kids there and eat dinner with them sometimes, swim in the pool, because they actually, in Africa, many kids go into the rivers and they'll just drown because they don't know how to swim. So Mr. Boateng, one of the volunteers that has come there before, put in this pool, and now they have swimming lessons, and you'll see pictures of them in the pool, and it's crazy. This is the room I had, which was actually really nice for Ghana. I was treated really well while I was there, and I had my own bed, I had a toilet, I had a little tub that I could take a bucket shower in, and it's really nice. These are just some of the kids at the orphanage, or really at the school. This is a classroom on a school day, and we gave them pens, and they were really excited. And there's them having their swimming competitions, which I never got to help with. I just got to walk in on them afterward. And then Heidi and Dr. Oshan got to meet up with them the first day that I was there, because the group of students that went to Ghana, also for just a 2-week trip, I met up with them the first day I got there, so that was a nice transition to my trip. These are some pictures of the hospital where I worked. So I went to Ghana. I'm interested, I'm a biochemistry student, and I'm interested in going to medical school next year. So I wanted to do something hospital-related, medical-related. So Mr. Boateng actually talked to some hospitals and set this up through Rural Endeavors. I was the first American there, first volunteer ever to go to this hospital, so that was quite new for them and for me. These are just some of the other pictures. They got this ambulance while I was there, and this is a picture of just an x-ray that we had. We had to amputate a second thumb on a child while we were there, and I got to be a part of that. And that's just the front of the hospital there. And this is our medical team. So in the orange is, I'll just bring up their names. Ella was a medical student, a third-year medical student that was there for about half the time that I was there, so we got to be really good friends. hanging out in the wards and in the lab. And then Dr. Asian was the doctor that headed up, or he began the hospital. And when I first got there, I met with him and his wife in their office, and they said, "What do you want to do? What's this all about?" Like, they had no idea, I had no idea, and I said, "I really just want some medical experience. I want just to understand what hospitals in a third world country are like." And he was like, "Okay, well, my knowledge of medicine is way up here. Yours is about way down here, so we're going to see how that goes." And then he also said, "None of the patients are going to speak English, so you're going to have to learn Teach-Me." So I said, "Oh, okay, this is not what I was expecting." I was expecting to go there and working with pregnant women and then their children regarding infant mortality rates and maternal mortality rates, but what I ended up doing is working in each of the departments of the hospital, and this is a picture of the wards. So there's the farthest is males ward, then children's and females, and then I'm standing by the maternity ward. And I just wanted to show you some pictures of the friends that I had. And basically I spent time, and I'll go through each of them and show you some pictures. They had the wards, and then they had a lab and a pharmacy. And I also just spent time by doctor's side. Actually, that was something that I really learned a lot from. Is every day I would go do my work while he did his, and then in the afternoons he would go around to every patient in the hospital. It was a 28-bed hospital, and just review their case and see how they were doing. And a lot of times he would stop and say, "This is what the case is. This is the medical history of this person," and kind of explain it to me and ask me what I thought, or tell me what's happening with angiotensin in this case, or like why is renin, like just the cycles. And so I had a lot of stimulating my medical knowledge, which is very little, like he made clear the first day. But let's move on. This is the maternity ward. This is Auntie Rose, and this is where I thought I was going to spend most of my time. I ended up only spending a week here, but I did a lot of fetal heart, listening to the fetal heart, or taking the fundal width of the pregnant woman. I also got to stand in. I didn't really help much with the deliveries. I would mostly just watch or gather instruments. But the midwives really take over there, so it was kind of fun. They're real headstrong women. And this is just another picture. These are the 3 beds that they had in the maternity ward, so it was quite small compared to what I had expected. And this was funny. Ella, my friend, told me I had to take a picture of this because in Ghana, you would never see 2 husbands in the maternity ward at the same time next to their wife's side. So that was interesting to me because it's very different culturally than it is in the U.S. And this is just another picture of, we're doing a C-section up here, and he let me take pictures and videotape a lot of the surgeries, which I've actually lost that. My hard drive crashed, so I don't have any videos anymore, but I did have this picture. And then Ella holding the baby after it was born. These are just some pictures of the children's ward. When I spent my time in the wards, I would draw blood, or my first week there, I was in the males ward, and I didn't understand anything that they were saying because of the strong accent and the language barrier. But they would give me a syringe or an IV, and they would say, "Okay, next person that comes in, you're going to insert the IV, or you're going to set up this fluid for them." And I said, "Are you kidding me? I have never done this in my life. I don't even know." But I did it, and I learned, and then I started to feel like I could actually do something for the hospital after I kind of learned how to do that. We also spent time, I spent time in the laboratory, and this was kind of my forte, just because as a biochemistry student, I'd done a lot of the lab tests before. So when I spent time in the laboratory, here Emmanuel's doing the urinalysis, and genetic work. And this is the laboratory team. So by the time I was in the lab, it was about my 6th week. I spent 8 weeks there. They would just hand me a sheet of paper that said, go find this patient. I would go draw their blood, and then I would bring it back. I would run the blood tests. I would stain it so that we could look for the malaria parasites. And, so I was just doing a lot of stuff over there that I've done before, but I would never be able to do in the U.S. And here's just a picture of the whole lab team that I spent there. There were a lot of very serious-minded compared. Oh, okay. And these are some of the things that we found under the microscope. And actually, I don't have these pictures are not from Ghana, but I actually have taken pictures of these in my histology class this year. So we saw a lot of the Plasmodium, which is the malaria parasite. And sickle cell anemia was very prevalent, so if you can see it right there, the pointer's pointing right at it. You would see that a lot. Patients with poor circulation because of sickle cell. And then also, this was an exciting case for us. There was a week, have you guys ever heard of elephantitis? With the just like very enlarged limbs. And there was a woman there who actually had this, and they could not figure out what it was. They spent a few days on it, like trying to figure it out. It's not very common in Africa, or at least in this part anymore. But they figured out that they thought, oh,